Hi everyone, I know it's been a bit of a minute since I have filmed anything, but that is because I have been finishing up my undergrad degree. And so I'm really excited for today's video because I'm going to show you the books that I'm anticipating reading as soon as the semester ends. I have a large stack of books next to me, but because I've been doing my thesis and finishing up my degree, I haven't had as much time to read as I would like. And honestly, it's not even that I haven't had time to read, it's that I haven't had the brain capacity to read. So instead of reading, I've resorted to watching all of the Marvel and Star Wars movies. So that has been super fun, but I'm starting to get back into the mood for reading again. So I wanted to make a list of all the books that I'm planning to read over the summer as soon as my semester ends, and I can just read however much I want without having to stress about school. I will be working full time, so who knows what life is gonna be like, but for now, let's just get into the books. So, the first book I have is actually a result of my obsession with the Star Wars movies. I've seen the original trilogy when I was a kid and some of the prequels, but I didn't remember any of them, and I hadn't seen any of the Disney sequels. So I went through and watched all of them, and then I was interested in learning a little bit more about the books that have come out that take place in this world. And so the book that I saw that was recommended the most and I've heard the best things about is Scepter of the Past by Timothy Zahn. And Timothy Zahn is one of the most prolific writers in the Star Wars universe. At least I noticed that when I was looking at all the different books, but I got the first two books in this series. I think it might just be two books, but I've heard really good things about this, and I'm excited to see how I feel about it and if I understand, because I kind of feel like some Star Wars things go over my head. But I did read the first few pages and the writing was actually really good, so I'm excited to get into this and see how I feel about it. The next book is a sequel. It is Escape from Aurora by Jamie Littler, which this is the second book. The first book it's called Voyage of the Frost Heart. And I think I heard about it from Jean's channel, and I think she heard about it from Gavin. So I read the first book over winter break, and I absolutely loved it. And I actually found this book on discount, which I was so excited to find. And it's a middle grade series, and it's just fantasy adventure. And it's a really quick read. There's beautiful illustrations, and I gave the first book 5 stars, so I'm really excited to continue in the series. The next book is a result of my Marvel obsession and also to prepare for the Loki TV series that is coming out in June, and that is Loki, Where Mischief Lies by Mackenzie Lee. And I know that Mackenzie Lee is a problematic person, but I love Loki. He's one of my favorite Marvel characters, and I just could not pass up the chance to get this book and learn a little bit more about him. I'm not sure if this is canon. I would say probably not, but I've heard really good things about this story, and I think it'll be a really fun way to prepare for the show, since we do have a month between the end of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier and the start of Loki, so I definitely am going to be reading this in that month. The next book I actually have out from the library, and that is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. And I don't know much about this book, but I think someone dies and this girl is given an inheritance, but she has to compete and play in these games for it. I feel that's pretty self-explanatory from the title, but I didn't really have much interest in reading this, but lately I've been hearing some really good things about it, so I thought I would pick it up and give it a chance. Plus it seems like a really quick read, and I feel it might be a little dark, which is definitely something I am wanting right now. The next book I also have out from the library, and that is Darius the Great is Not Okay by Adib Khorram. I actually don't know anything about this book, but I know that it's sad and it's gay. I think that's all I really need to know to want to read it. So I'm excited to see if I like this. I also have the second book out from the library as well, in case I don't know if it's a series or a companion or what it is, but I'm excited to explore and see what this story has to offer. The next book that I'm really excited to pick up is The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. I have had this book for so long, and I don't know, I just kind of feel it's finally time for me to pick this up. I did start this. As you can see, there's like a receipt in here. I only got to page 18. And that was a few years ago. I have seen the movie and I absolutely hated it. It's like one of my least favorite movies of all time. Um, but I have heard good things about the book, and I heard that the book is a lot better than the movie, so I want to give it a chance, especially because I loved The Secret History when I read that. So that is definitely going to be like a summer long moment. Another really large book that I really want to start is Leviathan Wakes by James A. Corey. And this is the first book in the Expanse series, which is like a science fiction series. It's like beloved. I actually found this on discount once from Barnes & Noble like a long time ago. And as you can see, this is a signed copy, which I honestly didn't even know that. I forgot. They literally had this book for like probably 5 years at this point. Where is it signed? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I don't know much about this, but because I've been like so into Star Wars, I thought reading a science fiction book would be really fun. And I know the series is like a lot to take on, but the text is pretty big, even though it's like 500 pages. So I think this will be really fun. The next book that I am so excited to get to is We Hunt the Flame, which this is the first book in a young adult series that is fantasy, and I think it's like enemies to lovers or something. And it's like a resistance type of book. I heard it like compared to The Ember and the Ashes, which is one of my favorite books of all time. So yeah, I have read the first few pages of this and I'm like so excited to get to it, but I just like haven't had the like brain capacity to do that because of school. So I think that this is gonna be so fun, and then I'm gonna get the next book in the series and we're just gonna have a great time. And the next book, I'm honestly a little embarrassed I haven't read this yet because it's literally my favorite series of all time and I haven't read it yet. But that is Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. Yeah, we don't need to talk about this. You all know what this is. We all know that she's the worst. But these are literally my favorite characters of all time. So I'm really excited to get into this. I haven't picked it up yet because I know that I will not be able to think about anything else other than reading this book. And so I needed to give myself time to finish out my semester and finish out my degree before I pick this up. I think this might be one of the first things I pick up because I'm so excited. I've heard such good things, and a lot of my family and friends in real life who have read the series have been like asking me to read it so that we can talk about it, and I just haven't had the chance yet. So I'm definitely reading this very soon. The next book I thought would just be like a nice little palate cleanser, and that is People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I did read Beach Read last year and I liked it, but I don't know, it was a really good romance, but it just like, romance is not my favorite genre, so it was alright, it was great. But I heard this book compared to When Harry Met Sally, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, and I just thought it sounded like a great little summer romance moment. So in a similar vein, I have Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers, which this is like a drunk Vegas wedding, but make it lesbian. And I am here for it. I've had this book for so long, and I just haven't had the chance to get to it yet. But it's really short, and I know it's going to be a quick read. So similar to People We Meet on Vacation, I think it'll just be like a nice way to break up all this like fantasy and sci-fi business that I have planned. And then the last book that I have is I really want to finish The Gilded Wolves by Roshani Chokshi. This was a reread, and I started reading this literally in January, and I just haven't finished, but I'm like enjoying it. And when I first read this book, I gave it 5 stars. So I just want to like finish this so I can continue in the series. But yeah, I'm really excited to get to the next part in the series and reread one of my favorite books. I just like have not been able to like actually read it because school is killing me. But yeah, those are all the books that I am really excited to be picking up in the next few months now that school is over. So thank you so much for watching, and let me know which one I should start with, or if you've read any of these and you really enjoyed them, convince me to pick them up sooner rather than later. But thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time.